evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Charlton Chronicles, episode 3 this season. As you can see, we are a little bit light tonight, but this is a perfectly good crew for me. So you can see we're joined by the lovely Stephen Sid and the lovely Tyler. Stephen Sid, I'll start with you. You refer to yourself as regular guest, but you're not anymore. You are official co-host. So how are we feeling today? How are we feeling after the win last night through to the second round, which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit later?
Yeah, lots of positivity today. Thought it was a good result last night. If I'm from being honest, I was hoping that our second string would have enough to beat their second string, and it was proved right. I thought there were some good performances. A little bit disappointed with the draw, but we're through to the next round. Yeah,
absolutely. Tyler, how are you, mate? I know you was at the game last night. How are you feeling after that win? Oh, have we lost you?
Yeah, good. Enjoyed it. Glad we're through to the next round, and glad we got through. Really enjoyed it, and on to the next round.
Yeah, that's it. We are through to the next round. Just a shame the draw was a bit rubbish, but hey ho, we will talk about that, I'm sure. We will say good evening to some of you in the chat. I won't put them on the screen because it's a bit of a pain. So good evening to Chris. Chris has said that he was impressed by the players that played. All the youngsters played well. Fuller and Ryler. Charlton on Tour's in there. Good evening. Zara is in there as well. She said she was sitting behind the Stevenage dugout giving the manager some opinions of hers. Oh, God, I wouldn't have wanted to be that Stevenage manager, I tell you. Jack's in there. Good evening. Paul is in the chat tonight. He's got some stuff going on, so he couldn't actually be with us in person, but he's in the chat. So good evening to our lovely Paul. Good evening to Riley Bear. Good evening to Mark, who said he's buzzing for Bristol on Saturday. Me too. Maxim said good evening. Joe's in there. Good evening. Chris is in there. Good evening. And Michael is in there. Good evening. So, Tyler, I'll come to you first. So going on to sort of last night, was it the lineup you expected? Was there any surprises in there for you? And what was your thoughts on the overall performance?
No real surprises with the lineup, to be honest. Maybe perhaps I would have liked to have seen Kelman start. Maybe get him some more minutes in the tank. But overall, no real complaints, to be honest. It was a good little mixture of youngsters looking to make a name for themselves, and a couple of the new signings as well. And I guess you could say the second stringers is a good opportunity for them to get some minutes. And the game itself, I mean, was probably what I expected, to be honest. So we should really have breezed past Stevenage with all due respect, and that's for the most part exactly what we did. To be honest, it was a good performance from our second stringers, which usually we don't put in this sort of competition. You usually see us get beat in this sort of game, but we commanded it really from start to finish. Really good display in the defence, midfield bossed it, and I was really impressed by Tanto and Leburn's link-up play, which I'm sure we'll discuss in a bit more detail later. But really impressed by those two. Fuller was a standout, as we mentioned. Karoy bossed that midfield. I was impressed by Alex Mitchell as well. It was good to see him get some minutes as well and play really well against an opposition that you probably would expect him to play well against. Shame that we didn't keep a clean sheet, but to be honest, you're not really too fussed about that. We put 3 past them, and we're into the second round, albeit a very disappointing draw, as we all probably know. But in theory, probably an easier route into round 3 if hopefully don't speak that into existence. But yeah, good night overall, good performance, and nice to see the reserves and the youngsters get a bit of a runabout.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And Stephen Cedar, I'll come to you. I think Tyler's pointed out there a few really good performances. I mean, for me, I was incredibly impressed with Ibrahim Fuller, and it's someone who I probably wanted to talk to you both about. Obviously, we've not seen probably much of him last season. He really impressed in the friendlies. I think especially at Southend, when he literally got me off my seat with, what he was doing there. But how impressed are you with him for someone who's not really had a lot of first team minutes? And do you think this could be a really good breakthrough season for him?
I think he's a really impressive player. Seeing as though he's still quite young, he's very confident, got very good skills, and I think he knows that he's a good player. And I think that he should be given the chance to play because there's talent there, so why not use it?
Yeah, and Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm mightily impressed by the kid. I think, as I say, he's got inner belief. he seems to know what he's doing every time he does get the ball. I think Jones was pleased with him last night as well. And he could be one of those sort of outlet players, get the ball out wide, let him run, take the pressure off. He obviously looks like he's got a bag full of tricks, which is great. And he looks like he's got some in product as well. So not putting too much pressure on the kid at this stage. I really do hope that he has what he could maybe class as a breakthrough season this year, because there's certainly a really good player there.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Watching him, it's nice to see the academy producing such great prospects. And, I think for me, like, first half, I thought we were incredibly impressive. Second half, I was kind of falling asleep a little bit. I'm not going to pretend I wasn't. I was literally sat there and I'm like, I'm bored. I think when we sort of did a few too many changes, it was it became a bit scrappy, and obviously Stevenage brought on the likes of Jamie Reid and people like that. So they brought on more of their first teamers, and we kind of took ours off. So the second half seemed to become a little bit one-sided for me. But yeah, it was a good performance. Tyler, I'll go back to you. You've pulled out there. You thought Tanto and Leeburn struck up a good partnership there, and I think for me, having been a big critique of Miles, I was again probably really impressed with him last night. I still see some elements of his game that do bother me a little bit. His work rate can still be a bit lacking if he doesn't get his own way. But he looks like he's getting better and better. And Tanto, I am a huge fan. When you just get a connection with a player, he's my kind of player. But then I really love Big Chucks as well. As you can see, he's still on my bed. Not literally Chucks is on my bed. My Chuck staff is still there. So I might be trading him in for a Tanto one. But obviously we have quite a few strikers at the club. So, what's your thoughts on the striker situation at the club? And, how impressed have you been with the ones that have played so far?
Well, the competition for places is rife, isn't it? We've got a lot of strikers on the books at the moment. I suspect a couple will be moved on from now until the end of the window, because there is just so many. I mean, for example, Hadmay wasn't in the team. Dixon was probably one I was surprised not to see. I thought he'd perhaps would have got a little bit of a runabout, but again, I suppose he's not quite ready for the step. In terms of the players that played yesterday, as I said at the start, Leeburn and Tanto, they seem to have struck a chord already. I know it's early days, but when they come off the bench against Watford, they looked like they looked like they've been playing each other for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like the way that they thrived off each other. And then last night we really got to see it. Tanto, we saw a lot who kind of played a bit of a deep role and drove into midfield and looked to play the passes into Leeburn. The first goal speaks for itself. The pass was excellent and Leeburn's finish was brilliant. A great, well-taken goal. And I think that could be a good little partnership to either bring off the bench or potentially even knocking on the door to start. I know it's early days, but with the way they've started the season, if they can keep that going, I don't think that's out of the question, to be honest. As we were saying there, Leeburn, perhaps still things to work on. Obviously the injuries are still a concern, but he started this season really well. And Tanto has probably, to be honest, been our most impressive forward, or the one that's impressed me the most in our options so far. As for Charlie Kelman, who come on, again, Kelman had little involvement. He had one opportunity where he got put through, but he's still sort of very raw, and we haven't really seen enough of him to make a judgment. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. And as we know, as I said, we've still got a lot of strikers at the club. Dan Kanu played well when he came on as well, played a bit of a wide role, but he's one of the ones I expect to move on loan potentially. And then Gasman, I expect to leave probably on a permanent basis. But we've got a lot of competition for places up front, but at the minute, quite a lot of them are playing well. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, just coming back to you with the Charlie Kelman situation. Obviously, I've kind of, I'm not one to judge quickly. I think when Alfie May started with us, he started quite slow. I think Matty Godden, when he started with us, he started quite slow. And then look at what an incredible season he had. My issue is, I think it took Kelman last night probably 20, 25 minutes before he got a touch of the ball. So are we playing the right game? Are we playing the right system for Kelman? And this is my concern, because with Gas, in my opinion, Gas isn't a bad player, because he's done it at Cambridge. He's done he's done what he needs to do at other clubs. And I think we spoke about this last season, but were we playing the right system for Gas? I don't think we were. And then you see it at Southend, we play to his strengths and he scores 2 goals. So is playing 3-5-2 the right system for Kelman? And, can you see him maybe struggling to get a foot in that system?
But that's what Jones has got to figure out, hasn't he? That's what he's got to work out over the next few games. I think if we looked at it from Watford when he started, you probably have to say that I guess didn't suit him because, I mean, I don't think we noticed him in the first half. He was on the pitch like he wouldn't have played, and you wouldn't have noticed. So, and then again in the second half when he come on last night, again he was probably barely noticeable until the end of the game. So it's difficult to judge at this stage early. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a concern, especially with the price tag that we've paid. And it's the same situation with Gassan. We spent a lot of money on him. And again, you probably at the start of the season, you'd have to say we didn't really play to his strengths. As you said there, we played to his strengths against Southend, and look what happened, albeit it was Southend with all due respect. So yeah, I'm holding off judgment for now when it comes to Kelman, but I do want to see what his strengths actually is and how we can play to his strengths with the players that we have got. Does he like the balls in the box? Does he like balls in behind? Does he like the ball to his feet? That's something that we need to figure out. And I think we have got. I think ideally we've got the players that can play all of those sort of things. We just need to figure out how do we get the best out of Kelman in the team and with the players that we have. So that's a question that Jones needs to figure out. But I'm not judging him yet. I want to see what he can do. He's probably, in my eyes anyway, not quite ready to start just yet. But we're not spending $3.5 million on him for no reason.
Yeah, and I see obviously today that QPR have officially unveiled Richard Kone as well. And I think they've paid less for Kone than we paid for Kelman. And obviously Kelman came from QPR. So they didn't think Kelman was good enough, but they think Kone is good enough. So it's actually going to be really interesting to see out of those two who, maybe performs the best this season. I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to see. Yep. Stephen Sid, I'll come back to you. Someone that Tyler's pulled out on performance there, and someone who I was actually really, really impressed with last night, Alex Mitchell. Now, I feel that he's kind of been pushed aside a bit by Nathan Jones. And I've always quite rated Alex. He's like an old school centre-back. None of this fancy playing out from the back. He's what I like. He's a proper old school battering centre-back. So, what did you make of his performance last night? And do you think there is a route back in to the starting 11 for him? Or do you maybe think that he should go out on loan to try and improve his game?
Yeah, I'll echo those sentiments you've made there, Emma. I really, really liked his performance last night. He's definitely an old school defender, isn't he? He heads it, he kicks it, he gets through it, he marks tight, he tackles, he's aggressive. I think the only flaw you can say about him sometimes is when he is in possession, if he ever gets under pressure, he kind of does a bit of a sort of hot potato thing, doesn't he? He panics a little bit. Sometimes he'll get caught out. But in regards to his defending, I think he's probably, one of the most committed players alongside Lloyd that we've got in that respect. But yeah, I thought he did a sound job last night. Worked really hard, defended really well, and I'm glad that Nathan he didn't single him out as such, but he mentioned his name last night. In regards to where he can figure for us this season, I'm not sure he's done enough to get himself in the first 11, but I certainly think he's sort of staked a claim as such to keep himself in and around maybe the 15. In regards to if we do need to change around, you're probably looking at either him or Gillespie as your options. But yeah, I thought he did really well last night, and I was pleased for him as well, because I think he's looked a little bit bereft of confidence in the last couple of games that we've seen from him. But last night he looked like he was sort of taking command out there, and I think he probably viewed himself as a senior player, even though he is kind of at a young age. But I think he's played a lot of games, and when we were looking at him as a Lincoln player, he's probably one of the best centre halves in League One. So yeah, hopefully that'll give him a bit of confidence last night, getting back in the squad, and even if he's maybe a cup starter, if you like, this season, it can only benefit the guy. But yeah, I'd keep him around. I'd definitely keep him around.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget he's only young as well. I think, what is he, 22, 23?
Yeah,
so he's got a lot of learning still to do in his game. Whereas you look at Lloyd, and Lloyd is, I think, is nearly 30. So there's a big difference there, isn't there? You know, I think centre-backs tend to come into their prime when they're a little bit older. So I definitely think he's one worth keeping around, and, you know, let's see how he can develop. I'm going to read out a few because there's a few interesting comments in the chat. So Mark has said that a few players last night really did stake a claim for the 11. Alafi, Leeburn and Fuller mainly, which I think is the three that obviously we've pulled out as doing really well. Mark again has said that Leeburn looks like he's massively matured over the summer, seems stronger, fitter and more physical. I think it could be a big year for him in the Championship. I really want to see Leeburn do well, to be honest, because I like it when players prove me wrong. Like me and Connor Cov now are like besties, do you know what I mean? And I like to think that's because of me criticising him and making him better. So I take all the credit for that. We've got Late Night Chit Chat has said... Oh, sorry. I'd like to see Fuller given a chance instead of Campbell. That's quite interesting. Higher up in the first. I know he's extremely young, but I say put him in and see how he handles it. Campbell frustrates me sometimes. I don't think that's just you. I think Tyrese Campbell frustrates a lot of us sometimes because he can show real promise and then he goes a bit off the boil. Mark again has said that the system for Kelman, with the way we play, we're getting it out to the wings early and then crossing. It does seem to suit a Leeburn type more than Kelman. Yeah. I think as well, sort of coming back to that, Tyler, I'll come to you. Obviously, we've got Rob Actor, who at every opportunity looks to cross into the box. So do you think, personally, that game probably suits more of a, what do you call it, more like an Alafi or a Leeburn?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that's probably what we lacked last season, really. You know, we had Thierry who could, you know, we knew he could run at defenders and 9 times out of 10 he was going to beat him with a bit of skill, but he just could not cross a ball. Like that was the only thing that he lacked. And now we have Apter who can do both of those things. And as we said against Watford, he looked to do that at every single opportunity. Cut inside, ball in the box. That will suit Leeburn to a T and potentially even Alafe as well. But I question whether Kelman is that sort of, you know, backstick target man, Edder at the back post and getting him in. You know, I question whether that is his game. He could be. We don't know. We need to see more of him, really. But yeah, I think having Apter on that right side is such a massive upgrade compared to what we had on Thierry Small. Really impressed by him so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I am massively impressed. It's been so long since we've had someone who can cross the ball. And can I just call out Dan Carnew's cross for Luke Berry's goal last night was unbelievable. And I think what you said about Carnew playing out wide, I think that's where he played for the academy. He wasn't more of like a striker. He was more of a wide man because he has that pace and he has that technical ability. And hopefully Dan will go out on loan because I think he'll thrive on loan and come back a better player. But I know Chris is watching, so, you know, I did cheer Berry when he scored begrudgingly because I know that you and Jack weren't there, and I knew Jack would want his dad to do well, so, you know, I had a little cheer for him. What else have we got in here? People are saying about Kone, that he ran out of gas towards the end of the season and having Dodds playing under Dodds didn't help him. So I think that's enough about last night. Obviously, we're through to the next round. We've just watched the draw. Disappointingly, every time a good team come out, I was screaming, please pick Charlton, please pick Charlton. It was never going to be because it's that bloody Lee Hendry who I hate. We were never getting a good draw. And we have got, again, Cambridge away. So... Stephen said, I'll come to you. What's your thoughts on the draw? I mean, are you disappointed? You know, there were some good teams we could have got in there. There's grounds in there that I would have liked to have gone to. You know, I've not been to Brentford. I've been to West Ham, but to watch Soccer Aid, so I've not been to a proper football game there. You know, there were much better draws there for me that we could have got. So how are you feeling after that draw? And are you just sort of like, oh, it's going to get us through to the next round, hopefully?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit disappointing seeing as though you've got your Bournemouth, Wolves in there. But if it can progress us to the next round, then it should be all right. But I was kind of hoping for a better draw, to be honest.
Yeah, and Steve, what did you make?
Yeah, pretty much the same. There's a few teams in there that I really didn't want. I didn't fancy another game against Wickham. I didn't fancy another game against Cambridge. I was hoping we'd avoid a Championship side that we did. But yeah, it would have been nice to get, an away game at a Premier League club, especially if it means another ground to tick off. As I say, I would have quite liked to have gone down to Bournemouth for the evening or somewhere around like that. But yeah, the bigger picture, I suppose, is the sensible one. If we can take care of Cambridge, we're into the next round, and I believe it goes UK then, doesn't it? I don't think it's a Southern and Northern. So yeah, get through the next round and get Liverpool away. That would work.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Tyler, what's your thoughts? Is it going to be a away game that you're going to go to?
Well, to be fair, Cambridge was the last away game I went to where we saw a win. So maybe that's the omen, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, echo the same thoughts. Really, it's a disappointing draw, but as Steve said there, I agree, probably a sensible one because it's a game that we should really be winning. I mean, because if we dismantle Stevenage the way that I say dismantle Stevenage, but 3-1's a comfortable scoreline. If we've done that to them, we should really be doing the same to Cambridge, and then that puts us in good stead to get a good draw in the third round against, as you say, the likes of Liverpool or something like that. That would be lovely. Trip to Anfield.
Yeah, but knowing our luck, we'll probably get Wrexham away.
Yeah,
on a Tuesday night and get back at silly o'clock in the morning. So, here we go. So I was on this coach. The last time I went to Cambridge, some twat threw a brick at the coach window. I was on that coach.
Yeah,
so, yeah. What else have we got? Someone else has put, happy with the draw. We can get big teams later on in the competition. But we never do. We always, to be honest, I don't know what it is with us and cup draws. We always get horrific ones. Madness. So I'm going to move on to just a bit of transfer gossip. So I've heard rumours today that we are after signing Al Hamadi from Ipswich. Now, that's another striking option. So, one, I'm a little bit surprised. And two, he's from Ipswich, which just puts me straight off because every single player we sign from Ipswich is an absolute donut. So, Tyler, I'll come to you. Are you surprised by that transfer gossip? And is he someone you'd really want? He doesn't come with rave reviews from Ipswich fans.
Yeah, I mean that's actually the first time I've heard that rumour. So that's immediately taken me by surprise. I mean, yeah, straight away the Ipswich thing puts me off. I mean, Ahadme, Freddie Ladapo, Matt Penny, just to name a few. I don't think I need to tell you how poor they were for us, really, or how they didn't really work out for us. Do we need another striker? Is what I'm really asking myself. We've just signed Kelman. We've got Alafe. Leeburn's playing well. Godden's still to come back from injury. TC have question marks over his ability in the Championship, but can still offer something. And then you're looking at the likes of Watkanu, Ahadme going out on loan or permanent for Ahadme in that case, and Dixon going on loan. Do we need another one? I mean, if the fact that we've been linked with another striker tells me that we're still planning to do something perhaps a bit more radical with the options we've got now, could we potentially see TC going on loan potentially? That can't be ruled out because I don't see the point in us bringing in Al Hamadi if we're going to keep those five that I just mentioned. I mean, as you said there, Ipswich fans are not exactly too impressive. I mean, he did fairly well in League One from what I remember, but yeah, a bit taken aback by that one. I don't really see why we would need another striking option when we're pretty stacked in the area already.
Yeah, so just reading that comment from Mark, it's quite concerning. Like when I saw it posted, and I just to drop this in, I do pundit work for Football League World as well, and it's a question that they've come to me with today. Would I be happy with that signing? And I haven't actually replied yet, but I think you guys probably know what my answer to that is going to be because one, I don't think we need a striker, and two, he certainly wouldn't be one that I'd want. I'm sick of people's rejects, so no thanks, Ipswich. You can keep him there. Stephen Sid, I'll come to you. So obviously the transfer window is going to be closing within the next few weeks. Are there any particular players? So for whatever roles you think, are there any players out there you think, oh, I really wish I could get them, or I want them to play for my club? What player would you really, really want to play for Charlton right now if you could? Within what we need, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a difficult question. That now, I think we all could probably agree that we got a couple of the players that we would have really liked. Actually, Nibs being one of them. I'd have bit your hand off for Kelman if someone said we were going to sign Kelman as well. The only other guy that I've sort of banged on his drum before was the other guy at Luton that's gone to Glasgow Rangers. Sid, what's his name?
Asgard.
Yeah, Asgard. I'd have liked to have seen us sort of go back to Luton for him. But yeah, if I could potentially say, I mean, we could potentially go, I don't know, maybe another midfielder or something like that. But yeah, in regards to any names at all, no, there's no one that's really sort of banging on my head to say, yeah, we could take him. But yeah, if we didn't sign anyone else now, I'd kind of be okay, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyler, what about you? Do you think there's any positions really that we might be a bit short on, or what do you think? What do you see now that the squad needs strengthening? Where would you see it need strengthening?
I think to be honest, we're mostly done. If you really think about it, I mean, striking options were stacked. We've bolstered the midfield massively. Potentially centre back, you could make an argument for. Whether you can question whether Alex Mitchell's good enough to be cover or Zach Mitchell, and then there's the question of Reece Burke, whether he's going to be able to stay fit or not. But I think probably the area I'd say is the wing backs. We've got Josh Edwards at left wing back who can cover himself nicely, and we've got Bell potentially to come in as well. But then there's obviously the risk because we're playing Bell as a centre half, so there's a risk there. And then on the right side you've got Apter, and that's it. And the cover for Apter is Henry Ryler. He played okay last night, but is he good?
Yeah,
for the championship. So if we were to sign, I can't see us signing many, to be honest, for the rest of the season. But if we were to sign someone, I'd probably go with the wing backs. We was linked with that. It's a bit left field, but we was linked with that Japanese player, weren't we? Fukada. I like the look of him from what I've heard about him. If we were to go for him, I think he could be a wild card. Let's put it that way, because obviously he's from Japan. We haven't seen him play. He hasn't played in England before, so that would be a massive risk. But there's been a lot of raving reviews about him, and he could potentially offer something different as cover for Apter. So if I was to put a name on someone in a position that we desperately need, I'd go Fukada.
Yeah, and I think that's one that I'd probably be looking at as well. I mean, the sort of Japanese players that have come to this league not necessarily this league, League One as well, have thrived. When you look at Birmingham and the success of Iwata and Paik, although I don't think Paik is Japanese, I think Iwata is, but those sort of players from that area of the world seem to be big hits in this country, and I think he's definitely one that would be worth taking a risk on. From what I've heard, there might be a Premiership loan coming in. I'm desperately hoping that isn't Al Hamadi. Let's hope. And I think if I'm the same as you, ideally I think a wing back cover for obviously we let Tenai go, didn't we? So I don't really feel like we've got solid cover, and even probably Josh Edwards cover. Have we really got cover there if we need it? So yeah, I'd probably say wing backs, and not just that, but I think with Apter it's always a bit of a risk because he's more of a winger than a wing back. Is he going to be able to sustain a full season being up, down, up, down, up, down? I know he's got Kane behind him, but is he going to be able to sustain that for the whole season? We will have to see.
Chris has thrown an interesting one in there.
What's that?
Chris has thrown an interesting one in there.
Yeah. Chris, I'll have some of what you've been drinking because we've got no chance of getting him back. As much as I'd love him back, but Mark's put in the chat that Bell can play left wing back. Did it for Luton, whether he's got the legs. I'm actually, do you know what? I'm not normally a nervous person when I watch football. Amari Bell scares the absolute life out of me. I don't know what it is. I feel like he holds on to the ball for a bit too long. And I just get really nervous watching him. Get rid of the ball. Like I'm sitting there gritted teeth and like shouting at him. We are just waiting for our guest to join us. Hopefully within then, because I've run out of things to talk about. In fact, Stephen said, I'll come back to you. So obviously we saw Terry Taylor leave this week. which was pretty expected, to be honest. And I think Northampton Town's a good fit for him, being that it's Kevin Nolan is the manager there. And he obviously really likes working with him, from what I've learnt from speaking to his family. Who else can you see leaving this window, or who would you like to see leave to gain more game time?
I don't think it's like, obviously he deserves it, but I think DK might go on loan, because if he's not gonna play in the Championship, I think maybe he could have a season out at Wimbledon, somewhere like that, Bromley. Just let him go and enjoy football himself this season, rather than waiting for a chance for us. Whereas you've got the likes of Matty Godden, Charlie Kelman in kind of the way of him, also Miles Lieburn. So you almost want to like say to him, like, he's going to be all right, but maybe go and get some like experience and come back next season, and then you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I definitely think DK. I would even go a bit rascal. I think, like Tyler mentioned, I'd even maybe look at shipping TC out. And Tom's going to kill me. I'm so glad he's not on it. And I think the interesting one, I'd really like to see Kahim go out on loan as well, because Kahim has such a raw talent. And I think he just needs someone to spend time on him and develop him. I'd probably say League Two for him to start, but I think he would maybe excel if he played regular. And obviously he has the, and Chris has put in the chat, Maynard Brewer as well. I can probably see Ash going, but I think it would be more of a permanent than a loan. And obviously we would be sad to lose Ash, because again, he's an academy product. But is he going to get over Kaminsky and Big Will, as I call him? Then no, I was being polite. You know what I normally say. You know, he's probably not going to do that. So anyway, we will move on and we will welcome. Oh, he's disappeared. I was going to say, we're going to invite me guest on, but he's disappeared. He was there. Bear with me. Sorry.
Typical.
Tyler, talk for a minute.
You done this to me last time whenever a guest pulls out.
Oh, no. No, he was there. He's disappeared.
Wi-Fi dropped or something.
I don't know, maybe.
Blimey.
Sid, sing a song. Oh, no, he's back. Don't panic.
Right.
Hello, Paul. You all right? We lost you.
Yeah, sorry, my iPad was playing up for some reason, so I switched to my phone. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Paul.
Welcome to the Charlton Chronicles. This is Paul, and he's the exiled Robin on his social, so he's our Bristol City fan for the evening. Firstly, Paul, I'm going to ask, how is your tooth? Paul's had root canal today, bless him. He's still come on to be with us, even though he's been to the dentist. So that's dedication, that is.
Yeah, all good, thank you. All went rather well. Not too painful at the moment.
Good. That's good to hear. So, Paul, obviously, what I want to talk to you about, what an incredible result for you guys on Saturday. You know, I think you probably wouldn't have expected that from your first game, especially playing Sheffield United, you know. And when I saw the result, I was like, oh, God, we've got them in our second game. Now I'm kind of scared. So, you know, how are you feeling after that game, and sort of, are you more excited for the season now? I know it's only one game in, but how, you know, tell me your thoughts now for the season.
Yeah, I think definitely there's a huge increase in excitement around. We went into last season, kind of most fans expecting to finish about 9th or 10th. We obviously finished 6th, got in the playoffs, got smashed at Sheffield United just 80 odd days ago. I think probably most fans thinking similar. We might finish that sort of position on the table. But to go to Bramall Lane and win like we did, obviously with a new manager and a new way of playing, was just phenomenal. Our best opening day in my lifetime by a mile. And as you say, to do it at a team that will probably still be up there, if we're honest, at the end of the season, they're probably still going to be one of the favourites. Was just a fantastic performance. And yeah, a lot of excitement, I think, now building around the club and around the fan base.
Yeah, definitely. And I see Scott Twine scored an absolute belter as well. I mean, it seems to me like he's been around for forever. You know, I remember him playing for MK Dons. So, and, you know, to still be doing what he's, you know, been doing all these years and scoring those incredible set pieces is is something else. So tell me about your summer. Sort of what recruitment have you done, and who have you brought into the club?
Yeah, it's been fairly quiet actually. I think what we've done over the last 4 years is really build a squad up, and we built it almost, slowly, steadily, rather than spending lots and lots of money in any one summer. I think most fans went into the summer thinking we don't really need much from a defensive midfield. We might, one or two little tweaks here and there. The forward line was what needed work, and that's where we've seen the big changes. So Naki Wells was with us for 5 years. He was a very sort of established championship striker. Did well for us last season, but was at the end of his contract, so we'd let him go. We've got 4 or 5 forwards, probably none of whom are maybe quite at the level we need to really be pushing top 6. But then we brought in Emil Rees from Preston, who's looked very, very powerful and strong in his first couple of games for us. We got, I think, 14 goals for Preston last year in a fairly defensive team. And his movement, his running down the channels is very impressive. He's a big tool. He looks like a target man, but he's not really a target man. He's got a bit of pace, and he runs the channels, and we saw that with some of the goals on Saturday. So, yeah, it was really mainly him and Adam Randall in midfield, who's an ex-Plymouth midfielder. At the moment, that's it. I think we're looking for 1 or 2 positions that could do a bit of strengthening, especially up front. We need another striker. But yeah, so the squad's just been building steadily, and that's kind of why we've kind of finished where most people have expected us to finish for the last 2 or 3 years, because we've just progressed steadily 3, 4, 5 places up the league each time, culminating last year in the playoffs. So yeah, it's a steady squad, and so hopefully one more striker would be nice. I think every club wants another striker, don't they? But one more striker would be nice, just to have another option out there.
We can bring you Gassan Hadme for free. I don't know what you call him. I don't know if he's a target man, but we can bring him with us on Saturday.
Well, I only realised on Saturday you've got a Bristol boy up front for you now as well, haven't you, Nibs? So he's
yeah.
His old man was a very, very legendary Bristol Bears rugby player. So he was born in Bristol, and got a bit of history there. So maybe we can entice him to stay next summer if he has a good game on Saturday. No,
you're not nicking him. Sorry. I'm going to ask the guys to see if they've got any questions for you, which I'm sure they have. Tyler, I'll come to you first. I'm sure you've got a good question for Paul.
Yeah, so sticking with the recruitment front, I mean, as you said there, you've mostly kept the majority of your team from last season intact, which is a very good thing considering you made the playoffs. But there has obviously been a big change in that Liam Manning's gone. Obviously, Gerhard Struber's now your manager. He was obviously previously in the Championship with Barnsley. It's probably too early to tell, although you did just dismantle Sheffield United. But I was wondering, what are your impressions of the recruitment of Struber as your manager, and what are you expecting from him? And do you expect, well, what's the sort of vibe around the club in terms of how different it is from Manning to now under Struber?
Quite a lot, I would say. And in a way, going back to what I just said about recruitment, that might seem a bit strange, and that you felt we were progressing, you might want a similar sort of manager. It was a funny one, Liam Manning, because he got us to our highest position in 17 years. We haven't made a playoff since 2008. And he was liked, generally. I wouldn't say he was really loved. And a lot of that was maybe down to his perceived style of football. A lot of the sort of horseshoe football you see talked about, passing it around the back, up one wing, down the other wing. And a lack of real drive, maybe sometimes the substitutions to change a game when it's needed. And it was interesting to see Norwich fans saying exactly the same as we said last season on Saturday after 1 defeat. They're already saying the same stuff. So when Struber came in, I think it was a little bit left field. I think the club, found someone they wanted. He had taken Cologne to second in the Bundesliga 2 last year and was sacked with 2 games to go on the verge of promotion, which was a bit of a strange one. So if you look at that equivalent in England, I mean, that's the equivalent of taking, a Southampton or a Sheffield United to second in the league and getting them promoted. So in that sense, there's a calibre there. What he does seem to be doing already is making us more attacking. So much more direct. That's not long ball, but it's good clipped balls into channel. It's balls up front. Players around the forwards. Our wing-backs play very high, very attacking. Ross McCrory scored 3 goals in pre-season from wing-back position. And I think there's a real excitement around the place. Actually, we've got a manager here who might just be to win us a few games, but will also do so playing a really positive attacking style of football. And that's something we probably haven't had for 5-6 years. So it's something I think people are excited by, definitely. And he's also a lot more charismatic, and that's not dissing Liam Manning at all. He is who he is. He's a new model coach who studied the game and is an absolute student of the game. Gerhard Struber has been on his Instagram taking pictures around the city of him around at weekends. I mean, a pint with the fans and serving coffee somewhere. And that it's really little things, isn't it? But it does endear someone to a fan base when you see them getting involved with a city and with a club.
Yeah, Dean Holden did that for us, and then he got sacked.
Yeah, he was a lovely guy, Dean Holden.
Yeah, he's a nice fella, but yeah, his tactics at times left a little bit to be desired. Stephen Sid, I'll come to you. Have you got a question?
Yeah, hi Paul. Yeah, obviously we all watched on with interest in regards to your playoff last season, and I think probably most neutral football fans would have quite liked to have seen a Bristol City Sunderland playoff final, and obviously it was a bit of a sort of sorry into the semi-final. But yeah, amazing start on Saturday with you guys, brilliant result, but the same opponents. I just really wanted to find out what your expectations are as fans with the new manager and a new season with such a fantastic start. Is your sort of aim this year? Is it better than you did last season? Would you take that place in the playoffs again? Or
yeah, absolutely. I think we recognise where we are in this league, and you've got 3 parachute clubs, and you've got two very big spending clubs coming up from League One, and you're spending a little bit yourselves as well. Top 2 would be incredible. I think probably beyond most people's expectations. It's a little funny caveat again. When we got into the playoffs, the lowest ever point score. Not that matters. We finished 6th and we got there, and no one really cares. But we've been told we can actually be 4 or 5 points better off this season and not get in the playoffs. So that's still a better season in terms of results and points. So I think I'd say there's a general expectation of top 10 again. I don't think many fans would be that impressed if we dropped below top 10 after finishing 6th last season. I would say the general feeling was probably 7th to 10th before Saturday. I think that's probably topped up a notch since then, and with that sort of away win and performance. But again, it's not going to be easy. I'd say we obviously been at this level now for quite a long time. The parachute clubs are always going to be strong, apart from Luton last year. You've got Coventry, who build year on year and seem to get better and better and just not quite get there. We've obviously got Birmingham and Wrexham spending a lot of money. Millwall, I know we wouldn't like me saying this, but they've been very steadily finishing, in 8th position for the last couple of years, and they've spent a fair bit of money this summer, so they're going to be there or thereabouts as well in the playoff mix. So it's not easy. There are probably, realistically, 14 teams, 15 teams who with a good run in the middle of the season, someone could get into that mix. So you're one of a bunch of clubs just trying to grab that last spot, probably around the parachute clubs and the bigger ex-Prem clubs.
Yeah. First visit to your stadium on Saturday. Are we expecting to be part of a full house, or?
Yes, yeah, I think we're dozens short of a full house, so it should be a great atmosphere. And yeah, it's interesting as the first visit. I'm sure some have been to our stadium before, but it's changed a lot in the last sort of 10 years. So it's a really proper stadium now. It's nice to stay on the site rather than moved, but it's been completely redeveloped apart from the one end you're in, which was built in the early 90s, so it's not even that old. But yeah, really fantastic stadium. There's loads going on around as well. If you're coming out, we normally have a band on outside, and it's all a mixed drinking areas and all sorts. So well worth getting there early and having a look around.
Go on,
sorry,
all right.
So Paul, obviously, unfortunate for you guys that you didn't get to go to Wembley last season. But a bit of a different question. Obviously we got to Wembley, won, but what were your expectations when we won? Did you kind of think, oh, is that a bit more of a challenge playing against us, or what do you think?
Sorry, you just broke up at the start of my question. I didn't quite catch it. It was
it was
say again, sorry.
It was so unfortunate for you guys that you didn't get to Wembley.
Yeah.
But we got to Wembley and won. So what was your kind of expectation for them to play against us? Do you think it would have been more challenging, or like if Leyton Orient would have got up, do you think it would have been more challenging, or would you think it would have been less challenging?
No, I think from a size of club point of view, you're a better structured, more able to compete at this level probably than Leyton Orient. I think it's always hard for League One teams coming up. I think generally they struggle. We have the odd one who sort of seems to slingshot through, like Southampton and Ipswich do. And you might see that with, again, obviously the money that Birmingham and Wrexham are spending. But no, I watched Charlton a little bit. I must admit, I actually started watching a couple of years ago because I saw George Dobson playing a game and I really liked him, and I've been watching his career ever since. So I tended to watch whenever.
That's a favourite player. That's a
I really liked him. I really liked him. Thought we could have been in for him. But so I watched a little bit, and I enjoy the way you play. And Your manager isn't everyone's cup of tea. I think that's safe to say. but he's had obviously a couple of poor spells at a higher level, but he's a master of his sort of level and very good at getting results and getting the team going. So it won't be. We know it won't be easy on Saturday. He'll have you well up for this game. I assume you guys are selling out. Are you with your away end as well? And it'll be a big atmosphere hopefully there.
I think we're a couple of hundred off.
Yeah, get there hopefully then. But yeah,
I'll be there. Stephen Sid will be there. Tyler, I don't think you're going, are you?
No, I'm banned.
Tyler went on like a 1,000 away game day streak where we lost like every single time he went. So.
Right.
That's how long since I've last seen a win, and it's prolonging and longing. And every time I go, I have optimistic feeling that it's going to end, and it doesn't. So I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting.
Fair enough.
I mean, we were 2-1 up at Barnsley, and he was hugging. He was hugging me, and then Barnsley went and equalised. So he's a real Jonah. Is our Tyler? He's blushing. Look,
I might pay for your train ticket, I think.
Luckily, we won at Wembley with him there, so it's all good. Paul, finally, what? Just a couple of final questions for you. So, one, what is your score prediction for Saturday? And two, where is good, obviously, for the away fans to drink? I know you said there's areas sort of around the ground, but are there sort of any local pubs that are away fan friendly as well?
So, prediction wise, I think if it had been last season, I'd have gone a fairly safe 2-1. We had an awful lot of 2-1 home wins. I really don't know now with a new manager, but I'll stick with 2-1 and go with that. I think there's normally a goal to be found against us. Although I forgot to mention one signing. It was a loan from Man United, who's 6'7" keeper, who was brilliant at Sheffield United. So hopefully we'll see him make his home debut on Saturday. In terms of drinking, it's a bit of a funny ground. There's not a lot around the ground. So you can get to the ground, as I said, and there's stuff all around, and there's street food vans and lots of variety, real variety there in food-wise. There's a little place just on the road in from the M5 at Bedminster Cricket Club. They welcome away fans, and you can park there. If you normally have to buy in advance, I think it's £10. But you can certainly have a drink in there, and they do sort of traditional sort of ham and cheese rolls behind the bar and that sort of thing. They sometimes have a barbecue going on, but other than that, you're kind of having to make your route from the centre. So it's around the waterfront in town, bars around the station. You can't really get within a mile of the ground and have a drink, unfortunately, at City. But yeah, so there's plenty in and around the ground, and Bedminster's a good parking option if anyone needs it. Okay.
Well, we're really looking forward to coming. I've only ever been to Bristol Rovers, and that place is an absolute dump.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it really is.
Absolute tin pot dump. It needs knocking down and just.
Well, that could help this podcast view on our accounts. So yeah. See, everyone's going to like me now because I said Bristol Rovers is a dump, but I didn't lie. It is a dump. But Paul, look, thanks for coming on, mate, and we might see you there Saturday. If you see us, come and give us a hello if you're. Will do. Yeah, will do. I hope you enjoy your day, apart from obviously the result.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we enjoy the day and the result. So, fingers crossed. Take care, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Paul. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.
Cheers, Paul.
Good guest. Very
nice
informative.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So if you do want to catch up any more Bristol City news before the weekend, Paul is the Exiled Robin on his socials. Really great guy. Bless him. Like I said, he's had root canal today and still came on to support us tonight. So go and give him a follow, guys, please. So we will move on to Saturday. So we will start with our lineup. So how are we all feeling ahead of Saturday? Has anyone got any changes they'd make?
I think it's an interesting one because I think Tyler touched on it earlier. When you think about the performances of Tanto and Lieber, I think they both made a big shout to potentially start on Saturday. Whether Nathan does do that is anyone's guess. I think it's an interesting one. Yeah, I think the back four, back three will be kind of similar, but the forward line does leave some options, I think.
Yeah, what about you, Tyler? How are you feeling? I mean, for me personally, I would take Doc out. I think that would be the one big one that I would do. I'm a big Karoy fan, as many of you probably know, and he is on the back of my Jamaican-inspired shirt, which is hanging up on my wardrobe. Thanks to Shane in the shop for that. But I really like Karoy, and do you know what I think? For me, sorry, Tyler, I will come to you in a sec once I finish rambling. I think Cov needs a bit more support in the middle there, and for me, Karoy gets stuck in a little bit more.
Yeah, that's good. Sure.
And I just think Doc goes a bit missing at times. But yeah, sorry, Tyler, I'll come back to you. So, what's your thoughts?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't expect the goalkeeper, the back three, or the wing backs to change. I don't think we need to change that there, and obviously you don't change Coventry either. Doc is definitely one you could take out. I think out of possession, I think he played well against Watford. In possession, I think that's where he lacked. And as you said, he kind of went missing in certain areas and left Cov a bit exposed. I wouldn't mind Karoy. I think he played well against Stevenage, but obviously the Championship is a different kettle of fish. I would potentially make a case for ranking Costello for him to bring in there as well. I think he's knocking on the door to take Doherty's place as well. So I wouldn't be against JRC getting a run about. I know Nibs scored against Watford, but Sonny Carey was excellent, and I think he keeps his spot in the team. Although Nibs will definitely be knocking on the door to make an impact, and in the front too. I couldn't tell you because, as I said, I mean, Kelman's a bit of an unknown. Do we keep playing him? TC was a bit. I had big question marks over him against Watford, and then Tanto and Leeburn were excellent. So, do you start Tanto and Leeburn from the off? It's really, I don't really mind what we do in terms of the front line. Just see what works. We're kind of in that experimenting phase, aren't we? But Leeburn and Tanto, they were seriously impressive, and I wonder how well they play if they started in the league.
Yeah, I've seen a few people in the chat have said about ranking Costello. It's actually someone who I completely forgot to mention earlier. I'm not really sure about him. I'm not quite sold. I don't really sort of get his position almost. I don't know. I'm a bit confused by him, if I'm honest. I know Chris has said it in the chat. He prefers him over Karoy, but I'm a Karoy fan, so it's Karoy for me every time. And Barry has put a really lovely comment in the chat for Sid. Sid, you should consider a career in journalism. You are an extremely articulate young lady. I'm sure your dad is very proud. Sid is a superstar, and she does want to be a journalist. I don't know if you guys have seen, but if you haven't, you can probably look it up on YouTube. She did a thing with Charlotte Richardson, and I'm sure it's on Sid's socials as well. Not that I'm trying to get people to follow you on your socials because you're a child, and I don't really want to do that. But I'm sure Steve could reshare it on his Facebook as well if anyone does want to see it. Sid is an amazing young lady, and she's very knowledgeable with her football, which is why I wanted her on this podcast. One, because it gives me a bit of backup with these boys, and two, because she's amazing, and three, because she buys me the best gifts. I've got this little red bracelet with an elephant on from Thailand, all the way from Thailand. So.
Yeah, thank you, Emma, and thank you, Barry, for your very kind words.
Yeah, so we will go through our score predictions. So to be honest, with lineups, I'm a little bit confused. I'd really like Tanto to start. I think for me, I think the promise that he's shown just in a few performances, he's looking like our strongest striking option at the moment. So yeah, I would like to see Tanto start. But look, in Nathan we trust. If you'd have asked me that a year ago, that would have been funny, wouldn't it? So, yeah, Tyler, I'll come to you first. Guys, drop your score predictions into the chat as well, and we will read those out. Tyler, I'll come to you first. How are you feeling? What's your prediction?
I feel like I'm going to be saying this a lot this season, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. They've just come off the back of smashing Bristol, Sheffield United. They're going to be, hopefully, well, for their sake, hopefully fighting for the playoffs. I'd take a point, in all honesty. Yeah. I feel like most of us will probably say that. I'll back us for the 1-1. I think we'll get a 1. I think we'll get a 1-0. It'll be a tight affair, but yeah, I think we'll come away with a point. 1-0 I'll go.
Yeah, and Sid and Steve?
Yeah, almost the same as what Tyler said there. Yeah, I'd take a point, and I think 1-0 if we do get a point will probably be the most probable result. But yeah, putting the positive head on, maybe we can nick a 2-1.
And sorry, I've got to ask you goal scorers as well. Tyler, who's scoring for us?
I'll go Sonny Carey.
Oh yes, the Ginger Ninja. Steve, who's scoring those 2 goals for Charlton?
Yeah, I'll have Charlie to open his account, and Miles.
Miles and Sid. what's your prediction and your goal scorer, if there is any?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited for this game, and it's a new ground for me to tick off. But I'm going to stay positive and go same as Dad and go 2-1. And I'm going to go Charlie Kelman, and if he starts, Alife.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I'm going to go with Tyler. I would take a point.
Yep.
I think, obviously, you know, if we can get a point at a team that just battered Sheffield United, then it's going to be a very good point. Am I confident? No. There's a lot of us going, so I'm hoping that we can carry the team home. So if you are going, please bring your loud voices. We're going to need them to everybody get behind the team on Saturday. I'm going to go for, do you know what? I'm fancying a Connor Coventry goal. Going to be a little bit of a rascal. I'm dying for him to shoot, and he just gets the ball and he don't. But I don't know. I'm just in the mood. So come on, Ricey, bang one in for me. I might even put a little bet on. I actually won 20 quid last night because I put a bet on Nibs, and they do a thing now on Sky Bet where if you get subbed off and your sub scores, you still win. So Luke Berry scored and I won. So
That's what you call foresight.
Huh?
That's what you call foresight.
I know. I was
Fantastic.
like, hey.
Who would have thought Luke Berry winning never a bet? Never thought I'd see the day.
No. You still don't like him, but whatever. So we'll go through some in the chat. So Tommy's gone for a 1-1. Zara has gone for a 2-1. Tanto and Apta. Paul has just said he loves Karoy, but he's more of a spoiler. His forward passing needs work. Mark has said, I just don't think we'll concede 1-0 Charlton. Paul has gone for a 2. I'd take that. Charlie Kelman and Tanto. Charlton on tour has gone for Hart says 1-0 Kelman. Head says Bristol City 2. Scott Twine 2 and Tanto 1. Jack's gone for a 1-0 for Apta. Chris is still drinking. He says Luke Berry off the bench with a winner. Other Chris has gone for a 1-1. Be a bonus if come away with a 2-1 win. Tanto and Nibs. Mark says, effing hell, Emma, you've been drinking. Well, I've not been. Well, that's actually Malibu, but it's not that strong. And Chris has just said that he's unsubscribed. That's the last time I wish you happy birthday.
Yeah.
But that is us for tonight, guys. If you are heading to Bristol City on Saturday, like I said, bring your loud voices. If you see us, do come and say hello. We will be back on Sunday to review the game. Please do still keep watching. Next Wednesday, we have an absolutely incredible guest. I'm not revealing who it is quite yet, but I will be dropping hints throughout the week. Your first hint is it's an ex-player from 2011-2012 league title winning season. So it is a show that you will not want to miss. I know these guys are really excited. Tyler's really excited. I'm incredibly excited to get this person on. So please keep watching us. There's so much to come from us this season, so stick with us. And we will see you all on Sunday and hopefully see you at Bristol City. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Thank
Cheers
you.
all.
Take care, guys.
Bye.